look at the Perfect Effect 11 Scouting Force X with Edge, Shield, and Bullet, blue, Spyglass, red, Spectro, green, Viewfinder. Sorry about that. And this is the Perfect Effect version of Reflector. And on the back here you get just a look of all their accessories. There's a ton of accessories in here. Just a couple things you can do. It's a really cool set. And the camera mode. And on the side, stuff that I can't read because it's not in English. And there they are. And they are very cool. Pretty small though, but very cool. And they are so full of personality with all the accessories you can give them that it's just a really fun set. And I actually, right off the bat, can say I feel like if you don't get these guys, you're really missing out. And it kind of sucks because the cost has gone up at least $15 since when I pre-ordered them. And that's really, it stinks because it's $90 now for the three of them. And it's just such a cool set to own. All the accessories on them you can store. You can see they have you can plug the knives in their back here. Everything forms something, whether the base of the camera that becomes the riot shield, a jet pack, a wing pack out of the lens. And all this stuff is all interchangeable too. You can pull it off and put it on any of the other ones. The flash becomes your missile pods here. The tripod becomes a spinning Gatling gun. And as you can see, the sides of the flash, or the lens, become a shield, which I've got on Viewfinder and Spectro here. Yeah. They kind of designate who's getting what by putting numbers on them. You can see he's 2, he's 1, and he's 3. So it's kind of showing you who the accessory is supposed to go for, but there's really no rhyme or reason. Personally, I liked having one guy who looks kind of like he's trying to be Heavy Arms from Gundam Wing. The sniper guy carrying his riot shield and the jetpack so he can tactically locate himself. And then, of course, Viewfinder just doing in a Kimbo holding rifle style. Now, without all these accessories, and because it's going to be much raving, I might as well tell you what I don't like about it right now. These handholds are so tight, I'm afraid that I'm going to end up breaking these guns in their hands, or the knives. So that's definitely a minus for me, but it's such a small minus and something that I can totally fix with the Dremel. So it's really not that big of a deal. But everything pops off here, all these little accessories. And if you watched G1, you knew that the Reflector, they were all basically twins, well, triplets. They all looked exactly the same. And so if we were to take everything off here, if it wants to cooperate, hold on, let me get this off. Okay, so I took the liberty of just pulling everything apart because there's an awful lot of accessories here to be pulling off. I did save this one though because I wanted to show you the sniper rifle, and it's actually just one of these rifles with a couple extension pieces on it. You can just pull it out, and I think you could probably fit the bottom in one of their hands and just make some kind of, like, almost looks like a Megatron weapon. And then the scope for the sniper rifle, and then you just got another rifle. So if you watched G1, you knew that they all looked the same. And aside from the blue, red, and green to differentiate them, and obviously Viewfinder has the opening for the viewfinder there, they are all identical. Paint apps and everything, just the thing that differentiates them. Just as a comparison, here's Viewfinder, here's Spectro, and there is Spyglass next to them. That's what the toy looked like. They didn't look anything like their TV counterparts, and which is really nice because you got these additional accessories here that you can add to make them look more like their toy, or just leave them like that to look more like their counterparts, for toy form at least. We'll visit them again after though, because when we put them in camera, I'll compare the two cameras, just as a size comparison of a couple different things. There's the Blesser or sidearm. Here he is next to a Legends Jazz. They're pretty in scale with the Legends Jazz. If you are interested in a scale comparison, personally I think they're fine with the Deluxes because they're a camera and I don't think they should be all that big. If you have any of the other Perfect Effect stuff, here's Ninja, and she's roughly the same size. Her cannons stick up over their back. A Deluxe that I'm sure everybody has owned or at least seen at some point, and the Scout. So that just gives you an idea of the size comparison of them. So let's get these out of here. If you want to go for, I guess, G1 accuracy for size, putting them with your Legends collection is pretty cool, but pretty expensive to just be using them for Legends. Whoops. So for the instructions, you just get this black and white, and then you got the yellow and red just kind of drawing your attention to certain things and how things are supposed to go. And every single thing in here apparently stores somewhere, and that is pretty cool in itself. Yeah, because there's a ton of accessories here, and you can see you can do things like combine the chain gun, the handle for it, and the lens, make kind of like a super cannon, and you know, all kinds of just interesting things you can do. And like I said, everything here does store some way. So if we were to take the, I need to bring some better light on this. If we were to take the lens here, you can fold it on up like this, and you can see inside there's 3 circles here. And this is the first time I'm doing it too, so you're gonna have to kind of bear with me a little bit here. But it looks like we just can take our guns, our rifles, and stick them in the barrel first, and they'll store right inside here. And they certainly do. And then we can fold this on up somehow. Okay, sorry about that. I cut, and this is how it's actually supposed to go, and they're supposed to line up like that. And now everything should fit together nice. And that folds in like that. And you take these arm shields here, and these little purple pieces that you don't want to lose. And you're going to stick your knife into the purple pieces. And these are what are usually sitting on their back. And there's a slot in here that they will peg into on these purple pieces, just like that. And we'll do it for both. And you can see, you can hear how tight that is. Maybe you can't, but it's pretty tight. And slide that into the purple piece. Whoops. That's the one problem with these guys, is that they're so small that it can be very difficult to work with some of these things, especially when you've got larger fingers. I fat finger these, I guess. There we go. Slides on in there. And then you just take these, and these plates will lock right into place here. And now you've stored, well, you will have stored, when I get these on, 2 knives, 3 guns, and the 2 arm shields right in just this, just the lens portion. So you can see how cool it is how stuff stores. So you just got a coherent piece now. Moving on to next, let me do this before I lose this, because It's right here, so we might as well just lock it in place and be done with it. Take the knife, put it in here. Okay, so then we move on to the shield here. And you flip out these little purple pieces. And they flip up and out of the way. And quick glance at the instructions so we can see what we're supposed to do. And it looks like we take the handle, well, now the handle stays down out of the way. And then you're going to take your little knife and peg it on into here. Another slot in a hard to reach place. Then you take our scope, and the scope is going to hide somewhere down there. We'll come back to that after. Let's do the gun first. The gun slots in right down here. Our scope slots in somewhere around here. I think I see it now. I need some smaller fingers, guys. Okay. There we go. Slots in just like that. And we can put that to the side for now, I believe. Unless you can close it. I'm not sure. I'm just going to close it up for now. The final piece here, the flash. You take these flash pieces, and there's a slot on here and a tab on here. And you just kind of take these and bring it up and just slide them all the way down on here. And then fold the top closed, fold this handle up, that locks everything in place. And then finally just take the two shoulder pieces and lock them together like that. Now we're on to the bots, and they all use exactly the same transformation. You're going to take the wrists and you're going to swivel them back like this. And there's a joint on the side here that you're going to bring down. And then you should be just bringing their, bring this down, bring their fist like that. And take their legs, fold them back, and then you gotta space your hands properly. Oh, tab the legs together too, I'm sorry. And then they should fit right on in and over. And you got the little cube like this. And just because it's worth noting, here's the G1. Fold it in, fold his legs up, and you got a little cube. It's kind of interesting how very similar they are once you transform them both. And just do the same thing for all the guys. I'm not going to waste too much time showing you because they all transform the same way. Take the legs, squish them together, and fold them up. Make sure everything's pegged in tight. And finally, viewfinder. Clumsy. Fold it up. And when you're done, everything should be looking pretty well the same, all three of them. And then, what are we gonna do next? That is a good question. looks like our one on the far end, we're gonna flip his head backwards. And I believe these two go like this. And then you got these pegs here and the peg holes there, and each one has it. So what you're gonna do is just take them, clip them together. And by having two, now should mostly lock together. I think you're gonna have to super glue or nail polish it or something, because it is a little bit loose. And then just clip them together, and you can arrange the two any way you want. It's just the viewfinder has to be in the center. And it's a little bit wobbly, but that's okay. I'm gonna leave these like this, and we're gonna go back to G1 real quick and lock that up. Close these up. Viewfinder, spyglass, and spectro. Just plug it on in. Again, you can see that the engineering on the new ones is really an advanced version of the G1. That's essentially all it is. And we might as well just finish him while we're here. Put the camera lens on. He's done. And you can see where we're going with this guy in the process. You're gonna now take the flash, put it on, and like I said, not a terribly sturdy connection on the sides here. Take the top of the camera, and that is just going to clip on in here and knock everything off in the process. And this is pegging in the top, so it holds in place, but these little side ones are just too small. And oops, I can't say I'm terribly impressed with just the way that they stick together. Those ports definitely need to be thickened up a little bit, but it works. It serves its purpose. And there, now you've got the camera minus the lens, of course. Now you've got the camera, and you can see them comparatively. And you can also take these parts, and I think this will help with keeping them all together properly. Looks like swing everything out like this. And then take your chain gun and actually open it up into a tripod for the camera. I don't like the angle that it sits at, unfortunately. Guess that'll have to do. One of the legs looks like it's extending out further than the rest. And then we should be able to lock them all using the space between their feet and their crotch right on here. And let me make sure I'm doing this the right way. Yeah, okay, it's the right way. I'm gonna take this off for now. And this is probably the best way if you're gonna display them in their camera mode, because these joints are just so, or the connection pieces are just so loose comparatively, that I really think that it benefits them to be like this. And it actually makes the camera look better, because you filled in the crotch gap and you filled in the gap on the back. And I'm going to leave this like that. They tell you to flip the head around, but I don't like seeing it in the front. And personally, I think it looks better backwards. And it's more of a homage to G1. So there you go. Now you got Reflector on his tripod, and I think he looks best that way, and it's the best way to display him because they don't like staying together without the tripod. Now, like I said, the head on the back, you may not like it, but it's a G1 thing too. So I'm okay with it. And it's pretty cool. Like I said, everything is very much how the Generation 1 is. You've got the flash on top of Spyglass's head. You've got the thick camera lens piece on top of Viewfinder's head, and you're using Spectro as your button. So it's a very cool set, and I would totally recommend getting him. He's well worth the cost. He's a bit expensive, like I said, worse now than he was when I bought him, but totally really cool, the best release. If you're only going to get one perfect effect, don't bother with Frenzy and Rumble, because they are the disappointments of all the perfect effect I bought. Save your money and get these guys, because they're awesome. They're just so cool. So I hate to say that, you know, try to say nothing but good things. Hopefully I said some stuff that's, you know, constructive about things I don't like. The fist holes being a little tight, the way that the camera doesn't really stay together very well without this base attached. But other than that, there's really not much that's negative to say about these guys. They're just very cool. So anyway, this is T2RX6. I am knocking off parts of Reflector here again. And I hope you enjoyed the review. And I'll see you next time. See you guys.